The galactic threat. The stars had always called to humanity, beckoning with promises of adventure and discovery. But when the void finally answered, it came not with wonder, but with terror. It began with a distress signal, weak and fragmented, picked up by Earth's deep space listening posts. The message, once decrypted, chilled the bones of every analyst who read it. They are coming. The Zarkan. Run. Hide. Pray. Within days, the first refugees arrived. Battered ships of alien design limped into the solar system, carrying beings of all shapes and sizes. They came with tales of a merciless empire sweeping across the galaxy like a plague of locusts, leaving only ashes and silence in their wake. The Zarkan, as humanity learned, were a species evolved in the harshest environments imaginable. Centuries of conflict on their homeworld had forged them into relentless warriors, driven by an insatiable hunger for dominance. As they spread across the stars, they encountered other races, but saw them only as resources to be exploited or obstacles to be eliminated. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Earth's leading xenobiologist, worked tirelessly to understand the refugees and their stories. The Zarkan aren't just conquerors, she explained to the United Earth Security Council. They're exterminators. They strip planets bare, enslaving or annihilating entire populations, and they're methodical about it. Admiral James Chen, his face grim, added, "Their technology is centuries beyond ours. Energy shields, weapons that can crack a planet's crust, faster than light drives, that make our best ships look like rowboats. If they come here, we don't stand a chance." The council chambers erupted into chaos. Some advocated for immediate surrender, hoping to be spared the worst of the Zarkan's wrath. Others insisted on isolation, believing Earth could hide from the coming storm. It was Council President Amara Okafor who silenced the room with a single forceful slam of her hand on the table. "We will not cower," she declared, her voice steady and resolute. "Humanity has faced extinction before, whether by our own hand or by nature's whims. Each time, we've survived. We've thrived, and we will do so again." Her words ignited a spark of defiance in the hearts of those present. Humanity had indeed weathered countless storms throughout its history. From ice ages to plagues, from world wars to climate crises, the human spirit had proven itself resilient beyond measure. But how? Someone asked. "You've heard the reports. We're outmatched in every way." A sly smile crossed President Okafor's face. "Not in every way. We have something the Zarkan lack, something that's allowed us to overcome impossible odds time and time again. Ingenuity, creativity, the ability to think outside the box and find solutions where none seem to exist." She turned to Admiral Chen. "James, it's time to activate Project Nemesis." The Admiral's eyes widened. "Madam President, are you sure? It's still experimental, untested in real combat scenarios." "We're out of options, and out of time," Okafor replied. "How soon can it be ready?" Chen considered for a moment. "Give us 3 months. We'll have our best people working around the clock." As the meeting adjourned, Dr. Rodriguez approached the president. "I hope you know what you're doing," she said softly. "The refugees, they've lost all hope. They can't imagine anyone standing against the Zarkan." Okafor's expression softened. "Then we'll have to show them that imagination is humanity's greatest weapon. We may be newcomers to the galactic stage, Elena, but we're quick learners, and we're very, very good at beating the odds." In the weeks that followed, Earth became a hive of activity. As news of the impending threat spread, panic gave way to determination. Factories retooled to produce weapons and shields based on technology gleaned from the refugee ships. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. But the true hope of humanity rested in a secret facility buried deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. There, in a cavernous dock bathed in blue light, sat mankind's ultimate gambit, the U.S. Nemesis. To the untrained eye, it might have looked like any other spaceship, sleek and predatory, its hull gleaming with a material that seemed to drink in the light. But this vessel represented the pinnacle of human achievement, a fusion of reverse-engineered alien tech and good old-fashioned human intuition. Captain Sarah Chen stood before her crew, a diverse group of the brightest minds Earth had to offer. "I won't lie to you," she said, her voice carrying across the dock. "What we're about to attempt has never been done before. We're going up against an enemy that's conquered entire civilizations. But in this ship with this crew, I believe we have a fighting chance." She gestured to the Nemesis. "This isn't just a warship. It's a symbol of everything humanity can accomplish when we work together. When we refuse to give up, no matter the odds." As the crew began their final preparations, a gentle hum filled the air. Deep within the heart of the Nemesis, systems came to life. Lights flickered across control panels, and a soft, feminine voice echoed through the ship's corridors. "All systems online. Good morning, Captain Chen. I am ARIA, the Advanced Response Intelligence Algorithm. I look forward to working with you and a crew." Sarah smiled. ARIA was perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of the Nemesis, an AI system so advanced it bordered on sentience. Together, they would face the greatest threat humanity had ever known. As the dock doors began to open, revealing the vast ocean above, Sarah took her place on the bridge. "All right, people, let's show the galaxy what humans are made of. Nemesis, prepare for launch." The ship rose from its watery berth, climbing through the ocean and into the sky beyond. As they broke through the atmosphere and into the star-studded expanse of space, Sarah felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. The Zarkan were coming, but for the first time since the threat emerged, humanity dared to hope. The game was about to change, and the galaxy would never be the same. Project Nemesis. The U.S. Nemesis hung in low Earth orbit, a silent sentinel against the coming storm. On the bridge, Captain Sarah Chen sat in her command chair, her eyes closed in silent meditation. The weight of humanity's future rested on her shoulders, and she drew strength from the quiet moment before the plunge into the unknown. "Captain." Aria's voice broke the silence. "Long-range sensors are detecting multiple warp signatures at the edge of the solar system. Zarkan scout ships, most likely." Sarah's eyes snapped open. "So it begins. Sound general quarters. All hands to battle stations." As klaxons blared throughout the ship, Sarah took a deep breath. "Aria, initiate Project Nemesis protocols. Let's show them what we can do." The ship's revolutionary AI responded with an almost eager tone, initiating quantum camouflage. Activating gravitational lensing. Nemesis is now effectively invisible to all known detection methods. The view screen showed the approaching Zarkan vessels, sleek, predatory shapes that oozed menace even from a distance. They moved with purpose, their sensors sweeping the system for signs of resistance. "They're scanning for our orbital defenses," Lieutenant Zara Malik, the tactical officer, reported. "Should we engage?" Sarah shook her head. "Not yet. Let them think they've caught us unaware. Aria, plot an intercept course. Keep us in their blind spot." As the Nemesis glided silently through space, Sarah reflected on the whirlwind of events that had led to this moment. The ship itself was a marvel of human ingenuity, built in secret using a combination of Earth's most advanced technology and innovations gleaned from studying the refugee ships. The hull was composed of a revolutionary metamaterial that could absorb or reflect energy at will, making the ship nearly impervious to conventional weapons. Its warp drive, reverse-engineered from salvaged alien tech, allowed for faster-than-light travel and maneuvers that defied the laws of physics as humanity understood them. But the true heart of the Nemesis was ARI. More than just a computer, the AI was a quantum consciousness, capable of processing information and making decisions at speeds that boggled the human mind. ARI could predict enemy movements, manage the ship's complex systems, and even generate realistic holographic projections to confuse and misdirect opponents. "Captain," Commander Jack O'Neill, the XO, interrupted her thoughts. The Zarkan ships are approaching Mars. They're launching some kind of probes. Sarah leaned forward. Area. Analysis. The A's response was immediate. The probes appear to be terraforming devices. Based on refugee accounts, the Zarkan often convert conquered planets to match their home environment. A cold anger settled in Sarah's gut. The Zarkan weren't just invaders. They were planning to remake the entire solar system in their image. Not on our watch, she muttered. Then, louder, tactical, arm quantum torpedoes. Area. Calculate firing solutions for maximum effect, with minimal collateral damage to Mars. As the crew worked with practiced efficiency, Sarah reflected on the diverse team she led. Jack O'Neill, a veteran of Earth's space forces, brought years of tactical experience. Zara Malik, a prodigy in weapons systems, had helped develop many of the Nemesis's offensive capabilities. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, the chief engineer, was a genius who understood the ship systems almost as well as ARIA itself. Each crew member represented the best humanity had to offer, not just in skills, but in spirit. They came from different nations, different backgrounds, but they were united in their determination to defend Earth, and by extension, the galaxy itself. Firing solutions calculated, ARIA announced. Optimal launch window in 30 seconds. Sarah nodded. On my mark. And ARIA, let's give them a little surprise. Activate the holoprojectors. As the Nemesis closed in on the unsuspecting Zarkan ships, multiple holographic projections sprang to life around it. Suddenly, instead of one ship, there appeared to be an entire fleet emerging from hiding. Fire, Sarah commanded. Quantum torpedoes streaked across space, each one capable of unleashing destruction on a subatomic level. The Zarkan ships, caught completely off guard, had no time to raise their shields. 3 of the 5 scout ships erupted in silent explosions, while the other 2 were left crippled and adrift. Direct hits on all targets, Zara reported, a note of awe in her voice. The Zarkan ships, they never stood a chance. A cheer went up on the bridge, but Sarah remained focused. ARIA, status of the Mars probes. All neutralized, Captain. Mars remains unaffected. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. It was a good start, but she knew this was just the beginning. All right, people, let's not get cocky. This was a scouting party. The real test is yet to come. As if on cue, Aria's voice took on a more urgent tone. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures entering the system. It appears to be the main Zarkan fleet. Estimated time of arrival, 12 hours. The mood on the bridge sobered instantly. They had won the first skirmish, but the true battle for Earth and the galaxy was about to begin. Sarah stood, addressing her crew. You've all trained for this. You know what's at stake. The Zarkan think they're invincible, that no one can stand against them. We're about to prove them wrong, not just for Earth, but for every world they've terrorized, every species they've tried to exterminate. She paused, looking each crew member in the eye. We are humanity's best hope, and we carry the hopes of countless alien refugees who've lost everything to these tyrants. We will not fail. As the crew returned to their stations with renewed determination, Sarah turned to the view screen. Out there, beyond the comforting blue of Earth's atmosphere, an armada of destruction was approaching. But for the first time since the Zarkan began their campaign of terror, they were about to face an enemy they couldn't simply overwhelm or intimidate. Aria, Sarah said quietly, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them, the Nemesis is ready. And may God have mercy on the Zarkan, because we won't. As the Nemesis prepared for the coming storm, a new chapter in galactic history was about to be written. The hunted were becoming the hunters, and humanity was ready to show the stars what it was truly capable of. The first engagement. The vast emptiness of space was shattered by the arrival of the Zarkan armada. Hundreds of ships, from nimble fighters to massive dreadnoughts, tore through the fabric of reality as they exited warp. At their center loomed a behemoth that dwarfed even their largest vessels, the Worldbreaker, flagship of the Zarkan fleet. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Captain Sarah Chen watched the enemy's approach with a mix of awe and determination. HFY Tactical Analysis. The AI's voice was calm, almost detached. The Zarkan fleet outnumbers us approximately 500 to 1. Their technology is indeed advanced, but our quantum camouflage is holding. They have not detected us. Commander O'Neill let out a low whistle. Those are some ugly odds, Captain. Sarah's lips quirked in a small smile. Then it's a good thing we're not planning a fair fight. HFY Initiate Operation Phantom Fleet. At her command, the space around the Nemesis shimmered. Holographic projections, indistinguishable from real ships, sprang into existence. An entire fleet of Earth vessels seemed to materialize out of nowhere, arraying themselves in a defensive formation around the planet. Holo fleet deployed. HFY confirmed. The Zarkan are responding. They're moving to engage. Sarah nodded. Good. Let them waste their firepower on ghosts. Tactical. Prepare quantum torpedoes. We'll strike when they're committed to the attack. As the Zarkan fleet advanced, they opened fire on the holographic Earth ships. Energy beams and plasma bolts passed harmlessly through the projections, causing momentary flickers, but no real damage. They're confused, Zara reported from her tactical station. Their command ships are trying to regroup. Sarah leaned forward. Now's our chance. HFY, plot us a course right through the heart of their formation. Zara, target their command and control ships. Fire at will. The Nemesis, still cloaked, surged forward. As it passed through the enemy fleet, it unleashed a barrage of quantum torpedoes. The advanced weapons phased through the Zarkan shields as if they weren't there, detonating inside the hulls of the targeted ships. Explosions blossomed in silence across the Zarkan fleet. Ships that had stood against the mightiest civilizations in the galaxy were reduced to drifting debris in moments. Multiple confirmed kills, Zara announced, unable to keep the excitement from her voice. Their fleet coordination is in chaos. But the Zarkan were not so easily defeated. As the Nemesis completed its attack run, the enemy ships began firing wildly, hoping to hit their invisible attacker. Evasive maneuvers, Sarah ordered. HFY, recalibrate the quantum camouflage. They're starting to track our energy emissions. The ship twisted and turned, narrowly avoiding the barrage of enemy fire. On the view screen, Sarah could see the massive form of the Worldbreaker turning ponderously towards their last known position. Captain. HFY's voice held a note of urgency. The Worldbreaker is powering up its main weapon. Energy readings are off the charts. If that hits Earth, Sarah didn't need to hear the rest. Understood. We need to draw their fire. HFY, drop the cloak. Let's give them something to shoot at. The Nemesis shimmered into view, its sleek form a defiant challenge against the backdrop of stars. Almost immediately, the Zarkan fleet focused their attacks on the lone Earth ship, shields holding at 80%. Dr. Tanaka reported from engineering. But we can't take sustained fire from their entire fleet. Sarah's mind raced. They'd bloodied the Zarkan nose, but the enemy still had overwhelming numerical superiority. They needed a game changer. HFY, she said, an idea forming. Can you interface with the Zarkan ship's systems? There was a pause, longer than the AI's usual instant responses. It would be difficult, Captain. Their cybersecurity is formidable, but not impossible. A predatory grin spread across Sarah's face. Then let's show them why they should fear human ingenuity. Initiate cyber warfare protocols. Target their navigation and weapons systems. As HFY went to work, the Nemesis danced through space, drawing the Zarkan fire away from Earth. The ship shuddered under the onslaught, but held together. Suddenly, chaos erupted in the enemy fleet. Ships began firing on each other, their targeting systems hijacked by Aria's intrusion. Others spun out of control, their engines overloading or shutting down entirely. "It's working," Jack exclaimed. "They're tearing themselves apart." But the victory was short-lived. A massive energy beam lanced out from the Worldbreaker, narrowly missing the Nemesis but vaporizing several Zarkan ships in its path. "The Worldbreaker's systems are too well protected," Aria reported. "I cannot penetrate their defenses." Sarah gritted her teeth. They dealt a serious blow to the Zarkan fleet, but as long as that monstrous flagship remained operational, Earth was still in danger. "All power to engines," she ordered. "Set a course for the Worldbreaker. We're going to take that thing out up close and personal." As the Nemesis rocketed towards the heart of the enemy fleet, Sarah addressed her crew. "I won't lie to you. What we're about to attempt is incredibly dangerous. But every moment we keep the Zarkan focused on us is another moment Earth remains safe. We've shown them that humanity isn't an easy target. Now let's show them why they should have never come to our solar system in the first place." The crew responded with determined nods and affirmations. They had trained for this, prepared for this moment. Whatever the outcome, they would face it together. As the massive form of the Worldbreaker loomed ever larger on their view screen, Sarah felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was the moment that would define not just the battle, but perhaps the future of humanity and the galaxy itself. "Brace for impact," she said calmly, "and may fortune favor the bold." The Nemesis plunged into the heart of the enemy, a David against an intergalactic Goliath, carrying with it the hopes and defiance of Earth and all those who had suffered under Zarkan tyranny. The real battle was about to begin. The heart of the Empire. The Nemesis hurtled towards the Worldbreaker, weaving through a storm of energy beams and projectiles. The massive Zarkan flagship loomed before them, a city-sized monument to destruction and conquest. "Structural weakness detected," Aria announced. "There's a fluctuation in their shield grid near what appears to be their main reactor." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "That's our target. Zora, prepare a full spread of quantum torpedoes. Dr. Tanaka, I need every ounce of power you can give to our shields." As they closed in, the Worldbreaker's defenses intensified. The space around the Nemesis lit up with deadly energy, the ship bucking and shuddering under the assault. "Shields at 40% and dropping," Tanaka reported, his voice strained. "We can't take much more of this." Sarah gripped her chair, her knuckles white. "Just a little closer. Aria, activate the gravity well generator." The A's response was immediate. Gravity well active, disrupting local space-time. Outside, the fabric of space itself seemed to warp and twist. The Zarkan weapons fire began to curve and distort, missing the Nemesis by mere meters. "We're in range," Zora shouted. Sarah didn't hesitate. "Fire everything we've got." A barrage of quantum torpedoes erupted from the Nemesis, streaking towards the Worldbreaker's vulnerable point. For a moment, it seemed as if they would be swallowed by the flagship's shields. Then, impossibly, they slipped through. The resulting explosion was blinding, even through the viewscreen's filters. The Worldbreaker's hull buckled and tore, great gouts of plasma erupting from its wounds. But the Zarkan flagship wasn't finished. As the Nemesis arsed away from its attack run, a massive tractor beam lashed out, ensnaring the Earthship. "We're caught," Jack yelled. "They're pulling us in." Sarah's mind raced. They were committed now. Retreat was impossible. "Aria, can you break us free?" "Negative, Captain. The tractor beam is too powerful. We will be within their hull in approximately 60 seconds. A grim smile crossed Sarah's face. "Then we'll take the fight to them. All hands, prepare for boarding action. We're going to end this, one way or another." As the Nemesis was drawn inexorably into the wounded but still dangerous Worldbreaker, Sarah and her crew armed themselves. They had trained for this possibility, but facing the reality of it sent adrenaline coursing through their veins. With a shuddering impact, the Nemesis breached the Worldbreaker's hull. Emergency force fields sprang up, preventing depressurization, but alarms blared throughout both ships. "Air, you have command of the Nemesis," Sarah ordered. "Keep them busy out there. We're going hunting." The boarding party moved swiftly through the alien corridors, encountering fierce resistance. The Zarkan were formidable warriors, their bodies cybernetically enhanced for combat. But the humans had surprise and desperation on their side. As they fought their way deeper into the ship, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the alien technology surrounding them. The Worldbreaker was a testament to the Zarkan's advanced civilization, and to the terrible purpose they had turned it towards. "Captain," Ariah's voice came through their comms. "I'm detecting a massive energy signature ahead. It appears to be their central command center." Sarah nodded to her team. "That's our target. Whatever happens, we have to shut this ship down." They burst into a vast chamber, easily the size of a cathedral. At its center stood a being unlike any they had encountered before. A Zarkan, but one so augmented with cybernetics that it barely resembled a living creature anymore. "Humans," the being's voice boomed, a mixture of organic and synthetic tones. "You dare to challenge the might of the Zarkan Empire. You're primitive, the heart of the Empire." "Humans," the being's voice boomed, a mixture of organic and synthetic tones. "You dare to challenge the might of the Zarkan Empire. Your primitive species is barely out of its cradle." Sarah stepped forward, her weapon raised. "We may be young, but we've already proven we're not to be underestimated. Stand down, and we can end this without further bloodshed." The Zarkan leader, for that was clearly what this cybernetic monstrosity was, let out a sound that might have been laughter. "End this, foolish creature. This is merely the beginning. Your world is but one of many that will fall to us. We are the pinnacle of evolution, the rightful rulers of the galaxy." As it spoke, holographic displays sprang to life around the chamber, showing countless worlds burning, species being eradicated or enslaved. The scale of the Zarkan's conquest was staggering. "Why?" Sarah demanded, her voice tight with anger. "Why destroy when you could create? Why conquer when you could cooperate?" The Zarkan's eyes, more camera lenses than biological organs, focused on her. "Because it is our destiny. Because we can. The strong survive. The weak perish. It is the way of the universe." Sarah shook her head. "No, it's a choice, and we choose differently." With that, she gave the signal. Her team sprang into action, engaging the Zarkan guards while Sarah herself charged towards the central control platform. The battle was fierce. The Zarkan fought with cold efficiency, their cybernetic enhancements giving them incredible strength and speed. But the humans fought with a passion and adaptability that seemed to confound their opponents. As Sarah reached the main console, the Zarkan leader moved to intercept her. Its limbs morphed into deadly weapons, lashing out with lethal precision. Sarah ducked and weaved, her training and the adrenaline in her system allowing her to narrowly avoid each strike. She knew she couldn't overpower this being, but she didn't need to. "Air," she shouted into her comm. "Now." Suddenly, the holographic displays around the room flickered. The images of burning worlds were replaced by something else. Scenes of beauty, of cooperation between species, of civilizations flourishing together. The Zarkan leader faltered, its attention momentarily diverted by the change. "What is this trickery?" Sarah took advantage of the distraction, diving past the cyborg and reaching the console. Her fingers flew over the alien controls, guided by Ariah's instructions in her ear. "It's not a trick," she said, her voice firm. "It's a possibility. A future where strength comes from unity, not domination." As she worked, the images continued to play, showing the potential of a galaxy united rather than conquered. Some of the Zarkan guards had stopped fighting, transfixed by what they were seeing. The leader, however, was not so easily swayed. It lunged at Sarah, its arm transforming into a blade. "Enough. You will not corrupt us with your weakness. But before it could strike, a quantum torpedo detonated against the Worldbreaker's hull, rocking the entire ship. Sarah's team used the moment to press their advantage, overwhelming the remaining guards. Sarah finished her work at the console, then turned to face the Zarkin leader. It's over. I've locked out your control systems and transmitted a shutdown code to your entire fleet. The choice is yours now. Retreat or be destroyed. The cyborg's eyes flickered, likely receiving reports from across its armada confirming Sarah's words. For a moment, it seemed as if it might continue fighting. Then, slowly, its weapons retracted. How? It asked, its voice now tinged with something almost like curiosity. How did one primitive species manage to defeat us when entire galactic federations failed? Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Because we had something to fight for beyond ourselves. Because we understand that true strength comes from diversity, from combining different perspectives and ideas, and because we never, ever give up. As if to punctuate her words, Aria's voice came through the ship's speakers. Captain, the Zarkin fleet is powering down. Earth's defenses are moving in to secure the vessels. We've won. A cheer went up from Sarah's team, but she kept her eyes on the Zarkin leader. This doesn't have to be the end for your people. There's another way. A better way. The choice is yours. For the first time, uncertainty showed in the cyborg's posture. Perhaps we have something to learn from you humans after all. As Sarah and her team secured the Worldbreaker's command center, she couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and anticipation. They had faced the greatest threat in galactic history and emerged victorious. But she knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven itself on the cosmic stage. Now came the hard part, building a future where such conflicts would never be necessary again. As she looked out at the stars through the Worldbreaker's viewscreen, Sarah Chen felt a renewed sense of purpose. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. Humanity's stand. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity as humanity grappled with its newfound position in the galactic community. The defeat of the Zarkin had sent shockwaves across known space, and Earth suddenly found itself at the center of interstellar attention. Captain Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Security Council, her posture straight and her voice steady as she delivered her report. The Zarkin fleet has been completely neutralized. Most of their ships have been secured, and we're in the process of reverse engineering their technology. As for the Zarkin themselves, she paused, choosing her words carefully. They're adapting. The defeat seems to have triggered a sort of cultural crisis among them. Many are questioning the path of conquest they've followed for so long. President Okafor leaned forward, her eyes sharp. And the leader you encountered, the one on the Worldbreaker? Sarah nodded. He has requested asylum. Says he wants to learn more about our way of life. I believe it's genuine. But I'd recommended we proceed with caution. The council chamber buzzed with murmurs. The idea of the Zarkin leader, once the most feared being in the galaxy, now seeking to understand humanity, was almost too strange to comprehend. Admiral Chen spoke up. Captain, your actions have changed the course of galactic history. But we're in uncharted territory now. How do you suggest we proceed? Sarah took a deep breath. This was the moment she'd been preparing for. We have an opportunity here, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. The Zarkin's defeat has created a power vacuum, but it's also opened up possibilities for cooperation that never existed before. She activated a holographic display, showing a map of known space. I propose we establish a galactic coalition. Not an empire, not a federation, but a voluntary association of species working together for mutual benefit and defense. The council members looked at each other, a mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces. What Sarah was proposing was ambitious, to say the least. And you think the other species will agree to this? Someone asked. After all, we're still newcomers to the galactic stage. Sarah smiled. That's precisely why they'll listen to us. We've proven ourselves, yes, but we're not tainted by centuries of old conflicts and grudges. We can be the neutral party that brings everyone to the table. Over the next few months, Sarah's prediction proved accurate. Representatives from dozens of species arrived on Earth, eager to meet the humans who had done the impossible. The Nemesis, now a symbol of hope rather than just a weapon, became a diplomatic vessel, ferrying delegates and fostering communication between long-estranged civilizations. Aria's capabilities proved invaluable in these negotiations, able to translate and mediate across vastly different cultures and modes of thought. The AI had grown and evolved through its experiences, becoming a bridge not just between humans and machines, but between all sentient life. Of course, not everything was smooth sailing. There were those who feared humanity's sudden rise to prominence, who saw them as a potential new threat to replace the Zarkan. Others sought to exploit Earth's technology and resources. But for each challenge, humanity found new allies and new solutions. The Zarkan, true to their word, began a painful but necessary process of reform. Under the guidance of human teachers and counselors, they started to channel their drive for perfection into scientific and cultural pursuits rather than conquest. It would take generations, but there was hope for redemption. 1 year after the battle that had changed everything, Sarah stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Harmony Station, a massive space habitat that served as the headquarters for the fledgling Galactic Coalition. Below her, the blue marble of Earth slowly rotated, while all around, ships of various alien designs bustled about. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a familiar voice said behind her. Sarah turned to see Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the xenobiologist who had first helped humanity understand the refugee aliens so long ago. "It's something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime," Sarah admitted. Elena nodded, her eyes twinkling. "You know, when I first started studying alien life, I never imagined we'd be hosting a galactic conference. We've come so far, so fast." "We've still got a long way to go," Sarah said, her tone serious but not without hope. "There are still threats out there, still injustices to right, and we have to be careful not to become what we fought against." "True," Elena agreed. "But look at what we've already accomplished. We didn't just save ourselves, Sarah. We've given hope to countless species who had given up. We've shown that there's another way." As if on cue, Aria's voice came over the station's comm system. "Captain Chen, the Coalition Council is ready to begin the session. Your presence is requested." Sarah straightened her uniform. "Duty calls. Care to join me, Doctor? I have a feeling we're about to make history again." As they walked towards the council chambers, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and purpose. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had proven that courage, ingenuity, and compassion were forces as powerful as any weapon. The stars had once seemed cold and distant, full of terror and unknown threats. Now, they'd beckoned with promise and possibility. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Sarah knew that humanity would face them not alone, but as part of a greater galactic community. As the doors to the council chamber opened, revealing representatives from 100 worlds, Sarah Chen smiled. The next chapter in humanity's journey was just beginning, and the universe would never be the same.